Today on the channel, we've got one of the all-time greats as we got the Legend Series 17, Ken Shamrock.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for the world's most dangerous unboxing and review, as today we're taking a look at the Target exclusive Legend Series 17 Ken Shamrock. But remember, for all your wrestling figure needs that aren't Target exclusives, make sure you're hitting up Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle, save yourself 10%. And finally, one of my all-time favorites returns to the Elite line. Of course I love the Ultimate Warrior. Of course I love Terry Funk. Of course I love the Road Warriors. But right up there in the mix is the man, Ken Shamrock, an all-time favorite of mine. And I was lucky enough about 2 years ago to get to spend a little bit of time with Ken Shamrock, and we immediately became best friends. We hugged, we talked stories, we swapped stories about the old Pancrase days, and that is where I first came into recognition of Ken Shamrock, as he looked like just a killer bodybuilder you couldn't look away from in those Pancrase days. Of course, transitioning over to the UFC, then triumphantly headed to the WWF, where I was even more excited about that. And then, of course, he did go back to the UFC, trying to avenge that no-good Tito Ortiz. Oh, still works me up about him. Some great fights over in Pride back in the day as well against my boy Don Fry. Just a lot of cool Ken Shamrock memories over the years for me, and finally happy to get him once again in action figure form. Of course, many moons ago, we did get him in his most iconic outfit, the red, of course. But now, here he is in green. This is the regular edition. There is also a Chase edition of this Ken Shamrock. It is in blue, and of course, we'll unbox that Chase. And in that very video, we'll also rank the entire wave from my least favorite to my favorite. Going to be very difficult with a lot of heavy hitters in this line. We'll see how the rankings end up going. But we're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. We'll do some comparisons at the end. But there's old Ken Shamrock, the familiar Legends packaging we're very accustomed to by now. Ken looking really good. All kinds of extra hands with Ken Shamrock. Then we do get, of course, the classic Intercontinental belt looking really good. No robe with this edition, and Ken really only wore the red robe. I don't think he had a blue and green robe. I'm pretty sure he didn't. So this does make sense, but it is a little bit less than the old version. But of course, we do got some new bells and whistles with this one as well. We got True Effects, Glamour Shot, Ken Shamrock, WWE, Elite, Legend Series 17. There he is, a little earlier version of Ken, looking good, ready to take on the world, of course. Should have got a WWE Championship run, if you ask me. There he is, looking good there. And then the back, of course, we got the blurb going on. We got all that kind of info. We'll read through that. We got Ken once again. We got the cross-sell at the bottom. We got Shawn Michaels, AJ Styles WCW version, and then WCCW version, Dingo Warrior, and then, of course, Ken Shamrock himself. So looking really good there. On the back, let's see what it says about our old friend Ken Shamrock. The most dangerous man already established himself as one of the all-time greats inside the Octagon when he debuted in the WWE. Shamrock's reputation for snapping and tapping preceded him. Once in the zone, he would refuse to let go of his submissions, making him one of the most feared superstars in the locker room. And I also heard he hates bullies. Is that true? Vader, can you co-sign that? He hates bullies. He hates them. But there he is, Ken. See you later. Goodbye. Plastic prison. Almost say glamour shot, kind of, but plastic prison right there. We are locked in, it looks like, at the knees. They don't want him going anywhere. They know Ken's a fiery one. He'll fire up real quick. He's got a hot temper on him, as we do know. And if you don't know the whole Ken Shamrock story, you should really read his books, things like that. Take a journey into the old Lion's Den. It'd be a good one. Quite the story of perseverance for a young Ken Shamrock. Getting through into the wrestling game, of fighting, being left on his own, adoption, you name it. Tough life for old Ken. See you later. But a heck of a good guy, if you ask me, at least in my experiences. So we're going to put Ken off to the side. Oh, man. Ooh, I like this one a whole lot. But we do got extra hands with Ken Shamrock here. He's got 2 fists of fury. He's ready for some ground and pound if need be. Of course, we do got the gripping hands here. You got to always have some gripping hands. And then we do get the pointing hands with this one. I believe, are these the same sculpt that we've probably seen with Brock Lesnar? I'd have to imagine. I don't have them here to compare, but would have to think they're about the same. We do get the old pointing hands. Always nice. Always gives a little bit more emotion to the figure when you use the pointing hands. So I do like what I'm seeing right here. It does look really good. Of course, you got the black MMA-style gloves throughout on all the hands for Ken Shamrock. I'm going to pull this Intercontinental title belt off of him. And what a Intercontinental title belt. Not as classic to me as the one from the 80s, of course, that the Ultimate Warrior, Mr. Perfect, some of those greats held. But I always had a special place in my heart for this one. I do like the looks of this Intercontinental title. Looks good. Nice blue coloring to it. Of course, you got Intercontinental Champion on there. WWE scratch logo going on. You got North America, South America, Antarctica. Oh, beautiful wrestling in Antarctica. You got the WWE logo. Europe, Africa, Australia. Oh, beautiful this time of year. And, of course, Asia. So you got all those going on. Looking good. Love the Intercontinental title, especially with Ken Shamrock, one of the famed Intercontinental champions of the time. Now we get old Ken out of the package here, and oh, man, I love it. I love how muscled up. I love this body style that they got on Ken. It's just very, very muscular. Just a bad, bad looking dude right off the bat, no matter whose head you put on this one. And I guess speaking of heads, we'll start at the head of Ken Shamrock. Very, very interesting. A little crazy eyes. Of course, you get that wild eye going on. We see it right here in my t-shirt. I wish there was a double head on this. I wish, you guys always know with these chase figures, it's always great to have two heads, like Molly Holly, things like that. Really could have used an extra head for Ken Shamrock. I would have liked this head and then a maniacal screaming type head. I think that would have went a long way. Would have really made a point of difference between the two. So I do miss not having that or not having that ability to do that. Is what it is, though. No changing it now. Nice hairdo on Ken, of course. Got his ears to the back. Looking good. A little bit of teeth showing, and then he's got kind of the broken-in nose. You know, it's been busted a few times, as we do know, so he does have that. As I mentioned, big jacked-up body on Ken. Got Shamrock on the tights in green. Looking good. The green and black attack like a young Overkill. You thrash metal fans know you're Overkill. But very, very good feeling figure in hand. It feels very solid. Has a nice feel to it. Arms do go all the way around. You got a bicep cut. Double jointed pinless elbows. Playing all the hits, folks. But that is an improvement over the old version of Ken, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. You do got the wrist tape on the side. If you pull the hands off, this can come off, so be careful with that. He's got some big old fists. Ken's got some massive fists here. Looking really good. Of course, you got the ab crunch. You got the side to side on the waist. Get those big old Ken Shamrock splits if need be. You got thigh cut, double jointed knees, nice green knee pads on him. Boot cut. You got Shamrock down the side of the boots, looking good in green. Then you got the ankle articulation as well. A little tough mobility on these ankles, as always with Mattel. That's the one thing. If I could improve anything articulation-wise with Mattel, it would definitely be the ankles. But man, oh man, is this just a bad, bad looking figure. I just love it. He just looks like one bad dude ready to go. This is front row worthy. You guys, you know how it goes when you get a display or you have a display and you get a new figure. Sometimes those guys that are just sealing the deal, they go right in the front. Sometimes, I like it, but he's going to be a back shelf guy. Ken, for me, he's front row worthy. He's going straight up front. Absolutely love it. I love the body style. Love everything about this. Really, the only gripe I have on this is we didn't get an extra head. Would have loved an extra head for this Ken Shamrock. A more crazy. I would love to have this screaming head and have him out like this, just going crazy in the ring. He's going to snap, and he totally does. Would have loved to see that, but honestly, not in the cards, it sounds like. But he does fit on a ringside collectible stand. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. Very, very cool. Then we get the Ken Shamrock of old. Very, very similar. Of course, the joints are a little different because now we get the pinless joints now, which look really good. But a lot of similarities here throughout. Definitely improvements on the head. I don't know if I'd say improvements, but it definitely looks different in the head department, which is always nice. He does have the open hands on this one, so I will not have any open hands on my Ken Shamrocks, trying to make him as different as possible. He did come with the Intercontinental title. But the big selling point of this one especially is the beautiful robe. Of course, Ken used to wear the robes back in the day. But man, oh man, am I happy in 2023 we're getting some Ken Shamrock figures. Not sure what more we can get out of Ken Shamrock as far as looks go. I mean, the red, the green, and the blue. I don't remember him wearing any other colors. I could be wrong. Maybe we give him some of his Pancrase. I think he wore pink tights back in Pancrase a couple of times. I don't think we're going to get those. But I'm not sure what else they could do to get us more Ken Shamrocks. I really would like another one with that screaming face. I think that would go a long way. But I just don't know what they could possibly do. Maybe one of you guys would know. I mean, they could give him his when he refereed the Lions Den, we get a referee Ken Shamrock. I think that would be a cool enough one. We'll see what happens in the future. But apparently they have access to Ken again. I hope they can take it for as long as they can. At least get us another Ken Shamrock somewhere. Maybe jeans and a wife beater, something like that. There's got to be something. There's got to be something. But then it is, where do you plug it into? I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But I, for one, am very happy. This one did beat my expectations. Very happy to have Ken back in the lineup. And as I said, we will unbox the Chase on the channel as well. So stay tuned for that video, including all the other videos on Legends Series 17. But there's Ken Shamrock. What are your guys' thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, you made it this far. Make sure you thumbs up the video. Give it the old like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Dangerously close to 25,000 subscribers. Once we get there, we'll do a giveaway of some kind with that. And then don't forget about the Patreon channel, where you can get early access to videos like this, bonus content, exclusive content, Q&As, giveaways, you name it. A lot going on. And best of all, you support the channel over there at the old Patreon. You can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. And then don't forget to hit me up and follow along on social media. SirPaul64 is where you're going to find me on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for the world's most dangerous man, I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.